This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Welcome back to the Icon Podcast, and special thank you to Sphere Rocket VA for bringing us another episode. Today we are learning all about Jeremy. Jeremy, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, well, let's dive in. Who's Jeremy? What market are you in? Where are you from? And how did you end up in real estate?
Okay, so I'm in Northwest Arkansas. Most of y'all might think of it as a farmland area, but we're heavily populated compared to the rest of the state. It should be its own state, actually. I'm with EXP Realty here in Northwest Arkansas, and my main market is in Benton County, so it's the northwest corner. I've been in real estate since 2013, and I got into real estate right after I was selling phone book ads. And I made a lot of money, a lot more money selling phone book ads my first 3 years as I did in real estate my first 3 years.
Wow.
But yeah. I mean, the market was quite a bit different back then. So I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, so a little over 9 years. And I absolutely love it. But I got into it because I sold a phone book ad to a realtor, to a real estate firm. And they said, you should get into real estate. And I foolishly did. So here I am. I'm in too deep to back out now.
He said, I foolishly did. That's so funny. Well, then how did you end up at EXP? Obviously, was that your first brokerage, or, back in 2013, did you wind up with the real estate agent that you sold that ad to? Tell us a little bit about your journey and experience learning about EXP.
Sure. Yeah. In 2013, I joined another firm. It was Weichert Realtors. Great firm, great training organization. I learned a lot there. I was there for a few years before Keller Williams recruited me. It took about a year for them to get me to leave because, as a newer agent, you're kind of nervous about switching brokerages because you have a sense of loyalty and you feel like, they helped you get started and all that stuff, all different kinds of thoughts going through your head before you make a switch.
Yeah,
the reason I made a switch, it's tough. It's a tough decision to make. Even today, I mean, I've been recruited by other brokerages, and I honestly, EXP is my home. I don't, even if there was a somewhat better plan kind of on the surface, I don't think that I can make a switch, but you never know. There's lots of things to consider. But Weichert Realtors was great. And EXP, Keller Williams recruited me for over a year. I switched to them, and I absolutely loved them too. I didn't make a move because there was something bad that happened. It was because of an opportunity that I saw. And with Keller Williams, I saw additional training. They invited me to training even before I switched from Weichert to their firm. And I thought that was kind of cool that they would allow me to come to their training and learn from them. And I did. I learned a lot. I went from selling $3.5 million, generally all 3 years that I was at Weichert Realtors. And then I jumped from $3.5 million to about $7.5 million my first year with Keller Williams. So I was with Keller Williams for a couple of years, yeah. And I hired an assistant. It was just me and assistant, and I went up to $10 million in sales. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was like, I don't want to work that hard ever again. So I added a buyer's agent, and I have a family. I've got 2 little girls. One's 22 years old, and another one is 7. I'm sorry, she's 6.
Okay, wow, that's an age gap.
Yeah.
That's okay. They'll always be your babies. They'll always be your babies.
They are. Yeah, they're my girls. I love them. And my wife and I, we have a great time now with the team. She helps me she's like the morale booster. She kind of works for the team to help with the back end kind of things. But we have 6 agents now and an admin transaction coordinator. And last year was at 24 million in sales. We're not a large team, but we're not doing too bad, especially in a market like this.
Right. Absolutely. So, you jumped a couple brokerages before finally landing upon EXP. saw EXP's model. You're like, okay, this can work for me. I like it. What have you fallen in love with EXP since being here? Is it the revenue share? Is it the stock options? Is it, I don't know, the collaboration? What keeps you at EXP?
So it's not just one particular thing. If it was just stock options, or if it was just revenue share, or just icon status, that it wouldn't have been enough for me to make a switch. It's a combination of all those things. I'm not the kind of agent that thinks that there's always greener grass on the other side somewhere. And if I did, then I'd made a move last month. But I don't see it that way. EXP just has such an amazing platform that allows me to almost, as an icon agent, almost work with EXP for free because of what they give back to us. And
practically, yeah.
Yeah, practically. So, and I've got a really great retirement plan with that stock. Stock goes up and down all the time, but I don't intend on selling it. And I got in right when prices were around $6 a share. And right now, I don't know what it's at. I don't even check it, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's just a really great platform. The collaboration's great. The EXP world. At first, it was a little cheesy. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of like playing a video game, and I haven't played video games since high school. So,
yeah, having to pick your avatar and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, getting used to all that was difficult, but and it's gone through so many changes, because when I first started, EXP World it lagged so much that you couldn't hear each other. We kept getting booted out, and now it's a pretty solid system, and I enjoy it. I like it. I like getting in there and doing our meetings and meeting with people from all over the world, literally all over the world within EXP World.
Yeah.
And our workplace is another way to get connected. There's lots of training. There's more training with EXP Realty than I can think any other platform could offer. And Keller Williams is apparently named one of the top training organizations among all organizations. I just don't know that people are really looking at EXP close enough, because they offer a lot of training.
Right. They really do. What is it? Like 150 hours a week. I think 50 of it is live training. And I mean, there's a lot of training. I had somebody refer to EXP as a cruise ship before, right? Because there's so many activities going on at once. You have to pick which one that is like best suited for you, because there's Zumba on this deck, there's a pool party on this deck, there's all you can eat breakfast buffet on this deck. So you have to pick which one is best suited to you, or where your goals align. And with that training, that comes along with all the amenities of this cruise ship that is EXP.
Amen. And it's amazing, because I mean, there's so many options for you, and it's listed right there, right when you log into EXP World, or you can go onto the website, and you can see the itinerary, the schedule of all of that training. And I'm a time blocker. I put everything in my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. So it's if I see training that I'd like to see, anywhere from beginning. I mean, sometimes I'll get refresher courses on beginner's training, intermediate, and advanced training. It depends on where you're at in your business, what level of business you're at, and whether you're a single agent or a team member or a team leader. There's all kinds of training out there.
Absolutely. And earlier you mentioned that you had a really big year. You never wanted to work that hard again in your life, and you got some family things to take care of. You're a time blocker. So, Jeremy, how do you keep that going? How do you make sure you're avoiding burnout mode? How do you make sure that you've got a nice work-life balance going?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. And I teach that to my agents on the team and my coaching clients all the time, because in this business, you can get worn out if you don't pay attention to your schedule.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. Time blocking is one of the biggest keys to creating a solid work-life balance. If you don't have some kind of schedule to follow, then you probably aren't doing a lot of business. And if you are doing a lot of business, there's no way for you to remember all of your appointments, all of your meetings that you have to attend without having a calendar to follow.
It's true.
Yeah. And even when you sit down with a new client, I'm a consultative seller. So I do consultations prior to showing property and prior to listing property. And in that consultation, I teach the agents to set boundaries and expectations. Mm-hmm. And in that consultation, I share my working hours. I'm an 8 to 5 realtor. I do listing appointments and buyer appointments 8 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but I also don't do same day appointments. So I take that one day off, Sunday to we go to church and we spend a day with the family on Sunday. It's my rest day.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to create boundaries and set expectations, not just with your clients, but with everybody else. And if you haven't read the book Boundaries, there's a really great book out there called Boundaries that I suggest reading. It's something that helped me create those boundaries and expectations.
Absolutely. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries, because at the end of the day, that still helps you to be your best self facing your clients, facing your team, your mentors, mentees, and your family. You don't want to have that burnout going all the time. And, it seems like you've got a pretty good balance going if you're able to hang out with the kids and your family and also obtain Icon, which is great. So do you want to talk a little bit about, the production you have to do in your market to obtain Icon, how you, give back to your culture piece with the Icon Award, whether you're a mentor or you're teaching, and just some benefits that come with the Icon Award. But in your words, what is the Icon Award to Jeremy?
Okay. So obtaining Icon status, there's a lot of things that you have to hit. Mostly, it's your number of sales. And in each market, it's going to be different because of the average sale price that each market has. Now, you can cap you got a $16,000 cap, right, with EXP. It's a 80-20 split, and you can cap with one transaction if you wanted to. It's like a $2.77 million deal. You got more than enough to cap, and then you sell 20 more transactions after that. So a minimum of 21 transactions. But in our market, your average sale price is $350,000. And to be honest with you, I don't know how many transactions that takes to sell. I just sell the real estate. I sell the minimum to hit Icon status, and that's it. I don't want to sell any more than that. I don't have to. I give everything else away to my agents so that they're fed, and they're obviously happy with that. And I'm happy with that because I can work and coach my agents and my mentors. I am a mentor. I do mentor other agents. We get a huge number of real estate agents joining our market. So I've got, I think, 15 mentees that I mentor. Some of them, each of them have different needs, I suppose, and each of them kind of want either less or more interaction with me, and I let them decide because I'm not a babysitter. I let them reach out to me when they need me. If I don't answer, I always tell them. I always respond the same day, anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. if it's Monday through Saturday. It's usually within a couple of hours, and at the very latest at the end of the day. But I also give back, and I offer Mastermind Sessions via Zoom or in EXP World. And for the state of Arkansas, we do this on a bi-weekly basis, do a Mastermind Session where anybody can join, and we have discussions on how we can increase our business. And I usually let the agents decide how that conversation goes.
Sure. That's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that outside of that, I'm a huge believer in giving back some of our time with in the local community. I'm a CASA volunteer. It's a CASA of NWA, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates. I'm a military or Marine Corps veteran. I like serving my veterans here, so I'm a member of the American Legion Post 77 out here in Bentonville. And with our profession, we have a unique ability to be able to give back to the community because of how we can set up our schedule.
Absolutely. And, thank you for your service, one. And two, I've worked with CASA before. I don't know if they do the program Over the Edge in Arkansas with you guys. But anyway, I've jumped off of the side of a building for CASA back in my radio. And it's fun. You get these people to volunteer and raise money, and you literally jump off the side of a building for CASA, and it raises so much money for them. So if you haven't yet, maybe bring up, it's called Over the Edge to them. It's so fun. It's a huge event. It's really cool. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's fun. It's cool to give back to the community. It's not only is it a great way to get your name to grow, but at the end of the day, that's not your goal. Your goal is to improve the community, that's around you, that you live in, that you're building a family in, and not to mention you're selling homes to families in. You're bettering it all around for everyone, and it's really cool to hear, somebody giving their time back to that. And that's a great way.
I never discuss business when I'm volunteering with those organizations. I just think it's tacky.
It is, yeah. I mean, and you're there for a reason, and it's to give back, and that's okay. And it's cool. give back to your community.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see somebody doing that with their free time, because being a real estate agent, it's busy, but building the community around you, no matter what your career aspects are, it's good. It's good to hear that. It's good to see people doing that. And Jeremy, for people that are new to real estate, or maybe even just new to the EXP world, they've been a real estate agent for a couple of years, you're a mentor. So how would you advise them about going about the Icon Award, right? Is that something obtainable in their first year? Should they go after some other amenities that EXP has to offer in that first year? What's your advice on that?
So I personally believe it just depends on your work ethic and how willing you are to take education and instruction. And it's definitely possible your first year. Even joining a team, you have the ability to take on that mentorship and sell that number of transactions to hit Icon. But it takes a lot of work. So I don't know that it would be a common thing to achieve your first year, but I do think it's possible. It's selling 21 transactions at a minimum. Sometimes, depending on your average volume, it could be around 40 transactions, and that sounds like a lot. It just depends on so many things. And I would suggest always either taking on a coach, hiring a coach, or joining a team so you can get that mentorship. And if you're willing to show up, put in the work, I mean, you can hit Icon your first year.
Absolutely. And those benchmarks, lean into your mentors, lean into everybody that's there to help you, because you can hit it, but it's going to take some serious work, but at the same time, don't be disappointed in yourself, because that's a big goal, an Icon Award in your first year. It's obtainable, but there's a lot of little marks to hit on the way. So don't hate yourself if you haven't been able to accomplish that, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be able to take rejection very well. Mm-hmm. In real estate, you can't expect to sell 40 transactions without getting a whole heck of a lot more no's than you do yeses. Right. So we call it a go for no. You got to increase your activity level and keep going after a no, because the more no's you get, the more yeses you're going to get.
The closer you are to the yeses.
Yes. Yeah, closer you are to the yeses. So around, and everybody's different, but we say that you're going to get about every 100 people you talk to, you expect at least 1 or 2 yeses. So that's what you should shoot for. And in Keller Williams, we used to have the Bold 100. I'm sure some of you all who are listening to this are familiar with that. And we would contact 100 people in a day. So you could go after 100 people in a day and expect at least 1 or 2 yeses. Heck, if you're really good, if you know your scripts, another thing that I would suggest you doing is finding a few scripts and really internalizing those and getting good at those scripts so you can set appointments and start selling yourself as their agent. And I mean, you could close as many as 10% or more, depending on your skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. That's great advice, Jeremy. And going back to your beginning, you didn't start with EXP. Eventually, you were able to come over, but were you ever on the fence about it, just kind of skeptical, seeing the grass was greener, but wondering what was in that EXP Kool-Aid to make all these people, crazy and making that switch? How or what, I guess, would you say to somebody that's in those shoes, sitting on the fence, skeptical about EXP, doesn't really want to meet up, thinking they're just trying to get recruited, but they're still curious? What would you have to say to somebody stuck in that spot?
Well, I'd say that there's probably a plethora of different opinions when it comes to why they haven't made the jump yet. But if you look at the history, I mean, people were saying the same thing about Keller Williams as they were with EXP Realty in their first few years. Oh, that's not a sustainable model. There's no way that's going to work. They're not going to be around in 10 years. All kinds of things that they were saying about Keller Williams, they said about EXP. And I think it's hilarious. And it took me over a year to switch from Riker to EXP or to Keller Williams because of that. I was a new agent and I just felt like I was comfortable there at that organization. They were a great organization. They met my needs. And when I made the switch to Keller Williams, it was because I needed to figure out how to get past that plateau of $3.5 million. And I did that first year. It's pretty awesome after what they taught me. And when I looked at EXP Realty just had something that I had never seen before, and I thought it was too good to be true. I did. But it took me 3 months to make the jump from Keller Williams to EXP Realty because I needed to crunch the numbers and find out if it was going to be a good fit for me. It's not always, the numbers. Sometimes it's the people.
Right.
And the person that brought me onto EXP Realty was a great guy, and he was a Keller Williams agent with me at that time. And he invited me out to lunch, and I said, man, I'm not going to make a switch, but I'll have free lunch on you if you're going to do that. So it took me about a 2-hour conversation with him and his mentor. And after reviewing all of those numbers and getting to know a lot of the agents from across our area, our Northwest Arkansas and Midwest area, they absolutely loved it. And they obviously had pros and cons, which I took that in consideration. And then I went to my team members. We had like 6 or 7 people on the team. And I brought the information to them, and I said, I'm not going to move unless you would move with me. And they all looked at the information. They thought it was a great plan. So we all made the switch. I brought on about 20 people, I think, over the course of 3 months, my first 3 months with EXP Realty.
That's really cool. You saw the model, you liked it, you shared it, and you kind of let them see it for themselves. You introduced it, and you're like, if you have questions, let me know. And, it's just kind of, we don't want to force people to EXP because that can really kill the collaboration and the culture and the community here. So if you feel like it's the right fit for you, you're here with open arms. But if you don't think it's the right fit for you, we don't want you anyway. Sorry about it.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
We have talked about so much, and it's been a really great show. Do you feel like there's anything we haven't touched on that you would still like to talk about?
Oh, man. With every brokerage, there's pros and cons. I know a lot of people have a problem with there not being an office space. There is an office space that they collaborate with. Do you remember the name of that office? There's not too many of them out here in Northwest Arkansas. But
I don't know. To be honest with you, a lot of people just kind of talk about how they love the metaverse and how EXP is ahead of the time and they don't have to work in office. So, but there are options. I know there are if you, demand to be in a brick and mortar spot, but it's amongst
honestly
very rarely issue.
Right. Yeah. Most people work from home anyways, especially when you have so many agents hitting the market. We've got over 2,700 realtors in Northwest Arkansas, and we have less houses. We have 600 houses on the market. So right now the market's pretty tough, but a lot of people, they want that office space. So they have that office they can go to, and they have that name recognition. But if you're a good agent, you don't need an office to sell real estate. I work from remote most of the time. I do have an office. I'm at my office now, and I provide an office for my team members. And with the money that I'm saving by being at EXP Realty, it more than enough covers the expenses for the office. So you don't need an office to sell real estate. You're the one that sells real estate, not the office.
Right. Exactly. People they don't want to buy a house. They want to buy you. So it doesn't matter where you're doing that from, as long as you're showing up and, making sure that you're who they need when they need it. An office doesn't matter. But if it does matter to you as a real estate agent, there are options, there are ways, there are teams you can join. But if that's your deciding factor, ultimately to coming over to EXP, I think make the jump now and worry about the office later. Honestly, it'll come easy.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for your time today. Keep being the best girl dad you can be and an awesome member of society volunteering. And those are some really cool programs that you're involved with. And just thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us on the Icon podcast.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. We'll talk to you soon. I'll be seeing you at EXPCon and shareholders. Okay.
Look forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. Bye-bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.